Hello friends, today we're going to take a look at a very mediocre build. I wanted to see what you could do in Star Trek Online with, say, something like a T5 ship, which you get for free by leveling up, and strictly items that you grab from the different missions in the game. So that's what we're going to take a look at today, and I'm going to run it through an Argala run. I'm going to try advanced on it. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it's going to go great or very horribly wrong, but we're gonna check it out together here. I have a T5 ship here that you get just by leveling up. I believe in level 61 was when I was able to get this ship. It is a Defiant, so it's a tactical escort retrofit. As you can see, it hasn't even been upgraded to T5U, so it's strictly just a T5 ship. And let's take a look at the weapons that I've equipped it with, and I'll tell you where you could grab these. So right here, we're going to start off with the quantum phase dual heavy cannons. That is from the mission in the future-proof story arc called Sunrise. Here you can go ahead and you could grab that that particular weapon, the quantum phase.
With the war over, it's time for us to rebuild.
And then we have two of these phaser cannons. These are just single phaser cannons because there doesn't seem to be any missions that drop dual cannons or even dual heavy cannons in this game, which is a huge oversight, I think, especially with how much attention they pay to phasers in the game. I mean, you get a turret, things like that, but you can't get a dual cannon or a dual heavy cannon in the game except for this quantum phase dual heavy cannon. And you can't load more than one of those in your ship, so I think that's a huge oversight. The only other kind of forward-facing cannons that you get in the game are these single phaser cannons, and you get these from, I believe the mission is in the same story arc, future-proof, called Ragnarok.
Noi and his allies have engaged Alliance forces at Procyon 5.
Yeah, it's right there. So you get those from that mission. That's all I could find. So I equipped two of those. Now these are just crit D damage times 2. They come that way. So we also got the quantum phase torpedo. That's from that same mission as before, the Sunrise mission. The same place where we got this quantum phase dual heavy cannons. You get the cannons, you get the quantum phase torpedo, and then also this tactical console called Universal Quantum Phase Converter. So the quantum phase torpedo, basically it's a quantum type torpedo with a little bit of extra flair to it. So it's one of the better performing quantum torpedoes in the game. I know a lot of people recommend using this even over one of the rep torpedoes. They say it's just really good. So it's nice to be able to grab that just from a mission drop. So let's move on to the deflector, impulse, warp, and shields. So the deflectors, the impulse, and the shields are going to be from the same mission. These are the Soul Defense set. The Soul Defense set. We got the Soul Defense deflector array, the Soul Defense impulse engines, and covariant shields. Now these can be grabbed by playing the mission in the Iconian story arc, the final mission called Midnight, and from here you can go ahead and grab that 3-piece set. Now equipping all 3 of these items gives you an extra clicky ability called Discharge Repaired Nanites. Basically this is a really large heal effect that it gives you. Currently it says plus 13,544 hit points, so if you feel like you're about to die, you click this and it's supposed to keep you from dying. So it's nice to have that. And then for the warp core, also from the Iconian arc, we're using the temporal phase overcharge warp core. We could find that from the mission. Let's look it up here. I believe it is Butterfly.
The research teams in the Kiana system
Yeah.
require your assistance.
So that's from that mission, Butterfly. And then from that same mission, Butterfly, we have another console in the science slot called Temporal Disentanglement Suite. And basically this gives you some auxiliary power, plus 20% to maximum shield capacity, and crit chance based on your auxiliary power levels. So we have that one equipped as well. So those two items again from the mission Butterfly. We got the Temporal Phase Overcharge Warp Core and the Temporal Disentanglement Suite. This is a pretty decent Warp Core. I was trying to look for one that used to be in the Borg story arc that was a deuterium Warp Core, which helps with your weapons power, but I wasn't able to find that anymore. And I don't know if it just drops and they just don't show that it drops, but I wasn't able to find it. So, and I really haven't gone through those missions in a bit, so I equipped this Warp Core instead. It's a pretty decent Warp Core. It does fine. I mean, the big things on it, I guess, are it has plus 17.5 to Starship Electroplasma System Flow, so it improves power transfer rates, a little bit better Warp Core efficiency, better slipstream drive, stuff like that. It's nothing to write home about necessarily, but it's a decent enough Warp Core, especially since it's a mission drop. For the rear weapons, or aft weapons, we have the Trilithium Enhanced Phaser Turant. This is from one of the missions in the the New Frontiers story arc, and this is from Beyond the Nexus. Now there is a 2-piece here that's great. The 3-piece is nothing really to write home about, but the 2-piece is good. So we have basically this turret, or you could do an Omni Beam that comes from that mission, and then you also pair it with this engineering console here. Let me see if I could get all these windows out of the way. So the Reinforced Armaments console, engineering console, and together they give you a bonus right here, which is a 5% firing cycle haste for energy weapons and a plus 15 to flight speed. So that's nice to have. That fire cycle haste for energy weapons is really nice to have. So they have a turret, and again they have an Omni Beam, so if you're doing, say, beam arrays instead of cannons on your ship, then you could just switch this out for the Omni Beam and you get that same 2-piece bonus if you want that. Then we have these phaser turrets. These two we got again from the Future Proof story arc, Sunrise, I believe, again. And in Sunrise,
War over. It's time for us to rebuild.
yeah, so be quiet, Admiral Quinn. So you could grab these from there, and these are accuracy times 2, sorry, and damage for these. So that's where I grabbed those from. So basically you play that mission a bunch of times. In my case, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then you were able to get 3 weapons and 1 console from that. Actually, I'm sorry. That's 4 weapons and a console, because you get the Quantum Phase Torpedo from there as well. And let's see what else we got. So for engineering consoles, a little bit better survivability too, we have the the Trillium D plating. This comes from the mission called Ragnarok, and that is in the Future Proof story arc, I believe, the last mission there. Yep, so it's from this mission right here called Ragnarok, and you can grab this this Trillium D plating. So it gives a plus 13.3 at level 12. All this stuff is at level 12, by the way. I haven't updated or upgraded them beyond that. This is plus 13.3 to all damage resistance rating, plus 20 starship hull capacity, plus 13.3 to maximum shield capacity, and it adds 7.5% of your auxiliary power to your shields as a bonus power. And it helps you be immune to the effects of the Delphic Expanse, which you go through in this mission. So that's that's a nice thing to have. I got this first, and then the next 2 times that I played this mission Ragnarok to get these single phaser cannons, it was a little bit easier just because my ship wasn't being affected by the Delphic Expanse because I had this console, so it's kind of nice to have. Alright, so again, let's talk about the Reinforced Armaments. I only talked about the bonus that you get for the 2-piece, but by itself you get plus 53.3 power transfer rate, plus 20% to starship hull restoration, and plus 20% to starship hull capacity. So it just kind of helps you survive a little bit more. And this is a very squishy ship. Again, it's a tier 5, so but also it's an escort, so it just doesn't survive very well. So any little help that I can get in that area is good. Next, we have in the engineering console the House Martok defensive configuration console. This one gives me a plus 10 to maximum hit points, plus 5 to shield power settings, plus 5 to engine power settings, plus 7.5 to maximum shield capacity, and plus 16% to flight turn rate. So it's just nice to have, give me a little bit more turn rate, shield capacity, power, a little bit more power to the shields and the engines, and a little bit more in the hit point department, which is good. And we get that one from the mission, I believe it's the New Frontiers mission, and it is called Brushfire. So you get that console from this mission right here, Brushfire. There's a 2-piece bonus for that one too, but it's a Disruptor Omni Beam Array. And so since we're not doing disruptors right now, we're not doing the 2-piece, we're just using that one console by itself. Next, we have in the science console area, we have the temporarily shielded data core, and you get a plus 40 physical damage resistance rating, plus 26.7 kinetic damage resistance. So photon torpedoes coming at you, you're going to have a plus 26.7 resistance to damage from those things. With this console, you get a plus 20 to Starship Exotic Particle Generator and a plus 20 to Starship Control Expertise. So in case, other ships use powers to try to control you, you have a little bit of resistance. You have a little bit of extra resistances to controls abilities that could affect you. Next, we talked a little bit about the Temporal Disentanglement Suite, which we get from the same mission that we get the warp core at. And this, again, gives you a little bit more shield capacity, some more auxiliary power settings, and shield resistances, but also crit chance based on auxiliary power. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of extra crit chance anyways. In the tactical console slots, we got the Quantum Phase Converter, which we got from the same mission as a lot of these weapons here, which is Sunrise. And this gives me a plus 20 to phaser damage, plus 3 to auxiliary power, plus 30 to Starship Drain Expertise. And it has this ability called Hot Restart, automatically removes auxiliary power disabled conditions, and it occurs like once every 60 seconds, or it can only occur once every 60 seconds. Now there's a 3-piece here, and we're looking at the Quantum 3-piece, which is the Quantum Dual Heavy Cannon, Torpedo, and this console. And this is what the 3-piece gives you. So you go here, the 2-piece first gives you a 15 accuracy rating. It also doubles the potency or the power of the Quantum Phase weapons shield drain. So these weapons do some shield drain damage. It also doubles the potency of the Quantum Phase High Yield Torpedo Shield Heal. So basically by hitting, let's say that you hit, I believe it has to be Torpedo High Yield, not the torp spread, but the high yield. If you do high yield and you fire off one of these torpedoes, and you're near the target that you're hitting with this torpedo, it actually heals your shields a little bit. So that's kind of nice to have, I guess. Don't know if I'm going to use it, but it's just kind of an interesting ability to have. Now, I didn't tell you what the 3-piece was, so let's look at that real quick. 3-piece, basically, you get the Quantum Destabilizing Beam. It's a power that I have right here in the here in my tray. Basically, it gives me 1,963 phaser damage for per second for 10 seconds to one target. Basically, well, it's kind of directed at one target, but it also affects, I believe, some targets nearby it. So it does phaser damage, and it also steals power. Activating any exotic damage ability grants 2% firing cycle haste for energy weapons for 10 seconds, which is nice to have. Then we just have standard phaser relays. We have 3 of them to give me a plus 30 to phaser damage on this ship. And those phaser relays you get from the mission, let's see, I believe it's still, we're in, is it New Frontiers? Yeah, New Frontiers, and we get it from Of Signs Importance, I believe. Let's check.
The Lucari have discovered some unusual activity in an unexplored region of the
Yep, that's where you get them from. So do this mission about 3 times, and you get what you need there as far as phaser relays, or as many times as you need for whatever build you're doing. So as you can see, this isn't a very very upscale build. It's a very simple build. All of these weapons and devices have been grabbed from the missions. Now I want to show you some of the skills and traits that I have on this character, so you see that it's not really this character isn't really leveled up with everything yet. So I'm barely starting to work on the Temporal Operative skill. I was gonna say skill library. It's not library. Skill specialization. That's what it is. Specialization. So this is the very first specialization that I'm working on. I have no points anywhere else, and I haven't even completed the temporal one. So I have nothing in commando, constable, 0 in strategist, even though I have that as my secondary. Nothing in commander, nothing in intelligence, nothing in miracle worker or pilot. Barely starting to work on temp ops, and the reason I'm doing temp ops is because these are basically the bonuses that you get from this skill tree here, and the specialization tree is good for both ground and for space. And if I were to pick one that had the best bonuses to ground and space, and only one, I'd start off with Temporal Operative, really. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to keep filling this out, and then jump maybe to strategist next, or intel, one of the two. But yeah, so for right now I have temp ops as my primary. I got strategist as my secondary, but there's no points put into it currently, so you know, it is what it is, I guess. So not much there. Then in my traits, let's go ahead and take a look at personal space traits and see what we got here. So I am running Innocuous, which gives me a, let's see, let me go here and show what it gives me. Innocuous gives me minus threat and plus crit severity, so it gives me +5 critical severity, minus 25% threat generation, which is good because I got a little ship that everybody wants to blow up, and you know, I can't survive too long. I have cannon training enabled, which gives me a +5 bonus cannon weapons damage. These are standard, by the way, on here, on any character basically, so nothing that I have here is special. We have accurate. Accurate gives me 10% accuracy rating to my weapons. I have here Fleet Coordinator. Fleet Coordinator gives me +2% bonus all damage per team member, including myself, so it gives me a +2 bonus damage. If I'm doing a TFO with this character, it's nice to have this just because you get bonus damages from your team members. I also have, I believe it's called Point Blank Shot. This is from a mission. This is a mission drop, and it is from the Iconian story arc again, and this one will be House Peg. In House Peg, you get the ability to grab this this Point Blank Shot space trait. Next, I have the Redirected Armor Plating. This is also a mission drop. This gives me +30 all damage resistance ratings for 5 seconds when I'm hit from behind or from the side. So if my back is to the enemy or my side is to the enemy and I'm getting hit, I'm going to get a +30 all damage resistance ratings for the next 5 seconds. So it's nice to have this just to kind of help me survive a little bit more. This is from a mission in the New Frontiers story arc, and I believe it's the final mission, the Renegade's Regret. Yeah, it's from here. So if you want that space trait, you can get it from this mission, the Renegade's Regret. I also have Operative. Operative gives me some +2 crit chance and crit severity, a +1 to crit chance and a +2 to crit severity specifically. I've added Techie. Techie gives me +20 to Starship Hull Restoration and +20 to Starship Damage Control. So it improves passive hull regeneration and hull healing, which is nice to have. And then I have Elusive. Elusive is a survival, kind of more of a survival trait. it gives me a +10 to defense rating. Now in Starship traits, I don't have anything special. I have 2 that I'm gonna use. I have more than that, but for the purposes of this experiment, these are 2 that you can grab completely for free in this game. Nonlinear progression. This is from my Temporal Ops Specialization tree, and what this does is when I hit reverse on my ship, after 5 seconds I start gaining some hit points and shield regeneration. I don't know how useful this is. May not be too useful for me, but it's what I got, so I just slaughtered it on there. And then Withering Barrage is free. Withering Barrage is free because we have a Klingon event, Klingon recruit event right now going on, and you get a free ship on there that has this trait. So if you level up that ship, you're going to be able to get this space trait. So this is completely free, which is why I've included it on here. Anybody who creates a Klingon recruit character, I believe it's still live for the next week or 2 or something like that. So definitely go. If you haven't created a Klingon recruit character, go ahead and do it just for this alone, just to be able to get this free ship and this free starship trait called Withering Barrage. What it does is it extends the duration of cannon scatter volley by 4 seconds, and that's going to be great for this little ship. I need all the help I can get, so. But I'm not going to use any of these other traits because they are, well, Hunter's Instincts. Again, this is from the Klingon recruit event character also, but because I don't have a cloak that I'm using on this ship, there's no reason for me to have it on there. It kind of works with a cloaking device, so, you know, if you have a ship with a cloak, that's great. And the other ones are from either event ships or from the C-Store ship, so that's why I didn't include those 2, because people might not be able to get some of the event ships. But definitely Klingon recruit is one of the easiest things you can do. You don't have to really grind for it. All you got to do is create a recruit character, and I mean level up the character up to like very little. I think it's like level 10 or something like that, or level 15 maybe, and then you'll get this ship that you can unlock. So it's really nothing. It's not the grind that you have to do usually for some of the event ships. So highly recommend it. Space Reputation, let's go ahead and take a look at that and the available traits that I have so far for that. I have not updated a lot of my reputation. As you can see here, everything is a really pretty low level except for a couple of them. So I'm going to show you what I have in that area, and I'm not using any reputation gear either. As you saw, it was just all mission drop kind of stuff. So I'm using currently Advanced Targeting Systems. This will give me increased crit severity, and I'm also using Magnified Firepower, which gives me a +5 to bonus weapons damage. I'm using, let's see if I can get, there you go, Tactical Precision. Tactical Precision gives me +3 accuracy rating for 15 seconds to my, I guess my weapons. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, it says grants a minor accuracy bonus when a tactical bridge officer ability is used in space. So it just gives me a little bit extra accuracy. And then I'm using Precision, which gives me a +4 critical hit chance. And that's pretty much it. So nothing super special. Again, I'm not using any of the reputation gear, using some of the reputation, you know, space traits, but I really haven't in this particular build, it's nothing that I've really grinded for or anything like that. So it's just very simple, and we're gonna go ahead and see how this thing does. So let's go right into an Argala Advance and let's see how things go. Hopefully they go well. So let's see. This is my first time. I'm a little bit nervous actually, y'all. So here we go. Let's try it out. By the way, if you enjoy this content and this little experiment, please go ahead and leave a like down at the bottom and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content like this. I really do appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that. All right, here we are in Argala Advanced. And we're going to go ahead and try to see what we can do here. Hopefully we can do decently. I wouldn't count on it. Oh yeah. Normally I blow through these guys really quickly, but you know, working what you got. All right, take them out. That's okay. Try one of these torpedo high yield. Maybe you guys saw that, but a little blue bubble came over my ship. That's that shield heal that happens from the torpedo high yield with that specifically, this quantum phase torpedo. All right, so took them out. No. It's gonna be a little bit harder because now we have 4 at a time instead of just the 2. They're gonna be firing on me quite a bit. This ship does have a experimental weapon slot, and it's got basically the bug zapper, which gives electrical damage. Nothing too great to write home about, but you know, does a little bit of extra damage. Ooh, I am already. That hull's a little bit low right now, but I'm surviving. I'm making it. I'm not the best pilot in the game, so. I don't want to use my heal yet. Well, maybe I'll use it now. Alright, that's the discharge repair nanites. That's from the, oh no, that didn't do much of anything, did it? At least it didn't help me as much as I thought it would. Let me hit the brace for impact 3. I'm gonna use its destabilizing beam here, or the quantum destabilizing beam to see it'll... Oh no, I'm about to... Oh man, I'm about to die, y'all. Let me see if I can get away for a little bit. Ah, nope. Blew up. Ah, I stood in there too long. I should have just ran away a little bit. I hate running away though. Alright, come on. Get me back in, get me back in. Here we go. Ah, I also have some damage to my EPS conduits apparently. Alright, let's get right back into it here. That's my fault. I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been. You know, it occurs to me that I didn't show you guys what my bridge officer abilities are. We'll go over those in a little bit. But basically, I'm relying heavily on, mostly on Cannon Scatter Volley 2. But also on... Emergency powered weapons 2. As a tactical officer, I have the ability to do attack pattern alpha. Attack pattern alpha also boosts bonus damage to weapons, which is nice. And I could use that, pop that off from time to time. Alright, here we go. It's not horrible. I only died once so far. Should have just been paying better attention.
We do what we want, where we want.
Yeah. Alright, let's see how the rest of this goes. I'm gonna pop off a battery here. This is the just one that drops a lot. Weapons battery. Gives you a little bit of extra power to weapons.
Picked up a tight B transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for
I'm trying to get behind him, even though I don't really have flanking or anything, but just so I'm not in its forward arc. Alright. Took them out. Now we got Maj Kala's cruiser. What I like to do here is not go actually after Maj Kala. I want to go after these more nimble cruisers and try to take them out first, and then worry about Maj Kala's flagship later if I can. I find that these other ones pick me off pretty quickly. Oh, I'm about to die. There we go. Pop that off. Move a little bit more. When you got an escort, you got to be moving, because if you stand still for too long, they will get you. Alright, hey, I'm doing pretty good, actually. What did I die? Once, I guess? And that's pretty much it, which is great. It's not too bad. Let me pop off this destabilizing resonance beam. Let me hit the fire on my mark. Haha! Awesome. Hey, this did a little bit better than I thought. Again, this is wanted wanted on advanced, or Argala on advanced, and I was able to do it with this little ship right here. This is a tier 5 ship with some standard weapons that drop from missions and items that drop from mission drops, and you know, just personal traits that you can get from either mission drops or that just come with your character. Nothing special. Really, I think the biggest boon to this ship is probably this starship trait called Withering Barrage, again, which comes from that free ship that you get from the Klingon recruit character. But other than that, everything else is pretty standard. So it's nice to know that you can still do some advanced content with a potato ship like this, pretty much, and some potato weapons, supposedly, right? You could do it. You might die once or twice, but it's not too bad, actually. So anyways, I hope that this video has been entertaining to you, to see something a little bit different than super high-end builds that we see quite often. Those are great. I've learned a lot from those videos too, but every now and then I want to take a step back and just see what I can do with the very least that I have. And again, this is accessible to everybody in the game. All you got to do is level up one of your characters to at least level 61, I believe it is. You'll be able to get a ship like this. You can get the escort. There's also a cruiser in case you want a little bit more survivability and want to do beam banks and things like that. Now, I will say you have more flexibility when it comes to phaser beam banks and things like that in the game, to be able to grab those instead of cannons. Cannons are kind of hard, specifically in the phaser department. I think you do better with maybe like a disruptor cannons than you can with the phaser cannons. So, all right, that's gonna be it for today. I hope that again that you enjoyed this one. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down at the bottom, and if you enjoy the channel and you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate it. It helps out a lot. Until next time, y'all, live long and prosper, and have a good one.